Hello and welcome back to the arena. That's right folks, today we are going Rogue. Rogues tends to be one of the fastest growing deck archetypes in the current standard. And as blue-black is definitely a weaker deck for our new player experience collection, I thought it was worth taking a look at. This archetype holds a lot of promise. In fact, I'm pretty sure it will be the blue-black archetype featured in next year's new player experience decks built with the Zendikar block. But there is also some risk here. There's a number of cards that simply would not be used in any other decks, and as this is the leading blue-black archetype, even blue-black dual lands hold a certain risk if this archetype does not fulfill the hope and promise that people are expecting. So join me today, and let's see what we can do about going Rogue. In order to provide some good direction for you on what a good Rogue archetype could be, I took a look at a number of decks, primarily the Rogue Flash style deck from last season, as well as the leading deck lists for the current Zendikar Rogue lists. As you can see here, the Flash decks from last standard really revolve around that Flash mechanic, bounce, and removal spells, basically hoping to win a longer battle of attrition through overall dominance in the long run. The more modern list, of course, does what lists are doing at this point. They're playing with all the new toys, and it is chock full of rares and mythics, right down to the dual lands and things of that sort. Of course, we're not focused on Zendikar block at the moment for building our collection. It's far more efficient for us to focus on the M21 throne block. But of course, if you do happen to get any of these cards in your collection through ICRs or things of that sort, there is no reason to not play with them. I just would not expend resources right now to try and acquire these cards. Again, there is a lot of rares and a lot of mythics here that if this archetype does not succeed and does not become a tier 1 contender, those rares are really not going to have much value in your collection because there's simply no other place to play them. Boiling all that information down, I propose the following deck list for you. It's built primarily around cards that I know you have from the new player experience, putting a little more spin on the blue-black archetype than just the mutate functions that we saw in the new player experience deck. I've also included cards like Drown in the Loch that are going to be a big contention for this deck, and included some rares that you might wish to include if you come across those in your drafts. Again, I would not necessarily expend wild cards in order to build this deck. It is very risky at this point. It is showing good promise at the moment as a winning archetype, but mostly this deck list is designed to give you cards that you will value in your historic collection next year. And if Rogues does succeed in Standard, gives you an even more powerful version of Rogues potentially in Historic that you can use there as well. I've recently talked about how a lot of this format was going to be dependent on how well Drown in the Loch and Soaring Thought Thief dealt with Uro. But now with Uro having been banned in Standard, that is no longer the discussion of relevance. But those same two cards are going to be measured around how they deal with the new Nemesis in Standard, that being the Omnath and Lotus Cobra contention. Omnath is a ridiculously powerful card. I do think it is well costed in a fair deck. But alongside Lotus Cobra, this card might as well be 3 colorless and a green. It is so easy to cast and really makes it unfair. The idea here will be dealing with Lotus Cobra. If you can deal with that quickly, and the deck that I have proposed does have tools to do so, and of course black is chock full of removal that you will continue to add to your collection through draft. You will continue to open packs for Throne Block and add even more possibilities for this deck. The list that I propose is not considered a finished deck list. It is just something to try and build towards and use as a skeleton as your collection grows. But with all that having been said, let me invite you now, if you are seeing value in the videos that I am putting out there, please feel free to push those out and share them with friends and colleagues. And in the short term, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It is the best way for us to grow the channel and try and reach even more people. But until next time, I'll see you in the arena.